According to a 2014 National Housing and Population Census, Uganda has nearly 1.1 million people suffering from hearing disability. It is said to be one of the most common forms of disabilities that Uganda faces at the moment. However, even with their big numbers, persons with hearing disability still face difficulties in accessing services in most public institutions.
If you go to health centers, you move to schools, you move to the ministries themselves, they even don't have the interpreters. Government should inject at least some good amount of money to make sure that, one, we train enough teachers who will be helping such kind of people.
Recent reports have also indicated that a number of hearing-impaired persons, especially the females in Uganda, suffer sexual abuse. However, even when they report such cases to the police, most of the cases are never investigated.
We have in the courts of law and even the police and every other place, when someone doesn't understand a particular language, at least they try as much as possible to bring an interpreter. Then why don't we also think of our brothers, our sisters, and our members of the community who are deaf?
When they report the matter to police, these police do not know the sign language, and leaving these people now vulnerable and just in the mercy of God.
The police, however, say the problem is not as critical as portrayed by some members of the public.
Of late, the management of the Uganda Police Force took it upon themselves and seriously and started training people who are well versed with handling sign language. And some of these people have been deployed in stations.
In 2017, the Initiative for Social and Economic Rights, a non-governmental organization, together with the Uganda National Association of the Deaf, filed a petition against government of Uganda in the Constitutional Court. According to Salima Namusobya, the executive director of the Initiative for Social and Economic Rights, the petition was one step towards bringing an end to all forms of discrimination against persons with hearing impairment, especially in the health system.
So the case followed a lot of research and engagement, which found that persons with hearing disabilities were facing many challenges in regards to access to health and education. The case that is before the Constitutional Court focuses on health specifically, and the challenges that the persons with hearing disabilities were facing included, first of all, cost of access to health care. There are also other issues of having to wait at health centers for the doctor to say, oh, I can't speak to that one, let me first clear everybody else, regardless of whether you came first. But also there were cases of misdiagnosis because of failure to communicate.
She notes that the absence of specialized sign language interpreters in most of the public facilities poses heavy financial implications to persons with hearing impairment in the country.
For them, they have to, for example, transport, if they have a free person to go and assist them with interpretation, or they have to pay for an interpreter in order to be able to speak to a medical officer to be understood. So the costs they incur are higher than what the ordinary person incurs.
With all the prevailing challenges affecting persons with hearing impairment in the country, authorities in Gulu have now tasked government to ensure sign language interpreters are recruited in most public facilities.
When you move to most of these facilities, even police stations, you don't find an interpreter on the sign language. Now, such people, it is hard for them to receive justice because they cannot speak, they cannot be understood well. If I have an issue and I cannot sincerely speak or hear, I need somebody who can understand my expression. I need somebody who can communicate back.
Looking at the number of people with disability, the number is great, but at least they have someone to really help them and interpret for them.
With the communication challenge faced by persons with hearing impairment in the country, implementation of some of the health campaigns has been rather challenging. A recent survey carried out by Makerere University indicated that over 64% of persons with hearing disability had no knowledge about HIV. The problem, however, spreads up to the education sector. Namusobya notes that just as government is paying much attention to science teachers, sign language teachers too deserve special consideration.
Government should widen the training centers. Right now, it is mostly Chambogo that does the training for sign language teachers. it has to be inbuilt in all the other institutions of learning. As government is promoting inclusive education policy, it has to be mindful that all the schools have to have provision for sign language teachers.
Nelson Omoya, NTV.